Hello, my name is India and welcome back to the channel. It's hiatus time. We're watching 21 Pilots lore and we're in the hiatus chapter. So, let's get into it. Alrighty, as I said last time, this is everything you need to know before Clancy lore explained by Casey Lovett. And we are now in the second chapter. Let's go.
The profile picture was the same exact thing that we saw in the Sleepers video of a red eye with their symbol in it, and then the banner was a little bit different.
What does that say? You'll have to come and find me? See, this is so this is when I feel like they started getting cryptic and I had no clue what was happening.
Throughout the day, people started to notice some changes. Again, the profile picture very much just mirrored what we already saw, but slower because it's still images as their profile picture. There were some lyrics reflected, again, backwards because you're looking out. Remember the morning is when night is dead from Message Man. And finally, now I just sit in silence.
Oh, that would give me chills experiencing that. Oh, if you look at the E, scale to nicey much. Scale to nicey much. The little trident. That's wild. Ugh, that gave me chills. I don't like that. That's so... See, this is what I'm talking about. They started getting weirdly cryptic. I'm like, ugh.
The one exception is an award show on July 17th, 2017, where Josh goes up to accept an award.
Tyler wishes he could be here. He's actually off severing ties with Dima. But I had to make sure that I was...
What do you mean? Brother, what do you mean? They had to have taken that year to be like, okay, what story can we come up with? What's the vibe here? That's... wild. That's wow. Okay.
Dima was inspired by Dogma or Towers of Silence from Zoroastrianism.
And I would just sit in silence.
Were used for a Zoroastrian tradition where you would put decomposing bodies into a tower and let vultures feed on the bodies. The tradition.
Yeah, everybody in my video of me ranking the album where I thought it was a horse, I apologize. I realize now it's not a horse. I didn't know. Okay.
There is not a word until fans noticed a hidden message on the Vessel merch website that presented a URL of dmaorg.info.
That's so see, this is where I'm talking where they start getting cryptic. You have to be checking that stuff almost daily to ever find something like that.
You must keep this silent.
Why are there certain letters that are capital? We got E. Wait, huh? E. East is up. East is up. Oh, that's cool.
There are capitalized letters throughout this message, and when you put them
I wanted to figure it out myself,
out.
okay? East is up. I'm fearless when I wear my rebel clothes. East is up. I'm heavy. Oh, it's jumpsuit. See, that's so cool. That's the kind of stuff I want to do. But that's so intensely cryptic. Oh my god.
The secret message within the Vessel page had a GIF, and when you layered the different frames of the GIF, you got a more complete URL.
See, I feel that.
So basically, something I had failed to mention before is the fact that each of the circles on the Blurryface album correlates with one of the songs.
That's wild to me. What do you mean? What do you mean?
And that goes along with the cover art for the different songs. If you go on YouTube, for example, the thumbnail and the visuals on each of the songs. So they looked at each of these dots and lined them up with what number on the track list the song was. So for example, Goner is 14. It's the last song on the album. So the number 14 comes after Space.
Huh? I don't understand.
Full URL.
No, I don't get it. One more time. I don't get it, but that's okay.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter though. We need to get that number to get the bigger picture.
Oh, okay. So they're aligning the dots with the cover art of the Blurryface thing to get the numbers using the track numbers in order to finish the URL code. See, that I would have never.
On this website, we get the start of Clancy's letter titled.
That's where they came from. I heard people talking about Clancy's letters, and I'm like, this is the first time we hear about Clancy's, but I'm like, what letters?
They didn't realize until their 9th year living there that something might be off, which 9 is a number that we see come up again and again.
Isn't 9 the years from Blurryface to then too? To this most recent album? Isn't that what we said earlier?
And the bottom of this letter is signed off.
I feel like you can make a whole TV series based off of this, because I'm like, Or like a book or something, like...
Also along the side of the letter, it says west wall is blocked, east is up, which we have seen
East
that
is
message
up.
before. East is up. Failed perimeter escape by Dima Council. Violation of section, and then the number that we already saw from the URL of the Violist Code of Conduct.
This is, like, very culty, to say the least. Which I guess is kind of what they're trying to hint the fact of like, this, like, city or whatever was cool at first, but now you're realizing, like, you're kind of stuck there.
1107 Moon 08, which is the regional at best album release, is a cropped image of a mathematician that we're not going to talk about right now, but he will become significant later.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm so like, huh? What do you mean?
The map has 9 circles in the center of the city, which again looks pretty similar to the Blurryface album. Each of the circles has a name over it. We have Andre, Liston, Keons, Nico, Rizdro, Sikarver, Nils, and Vitomo. My apologies if I...
Interesting. So that's where, okay. So that also kind of leans into the each one being like the song type thing.
The city really is not that big on the map, and there's a big surrounding area with a lot of little rectangles, but that's for the dead.
That's not terrifying.
Also, if you take this map and rotate it so that east is up, which is the message that we've...
Shut up. No, I'm not. I can't.
The names on the circles line up with the songs from the Blurryface album. Each of the names lines up with lyrics from the songs that they go with.
Interesting. Okay. So in each song, you can find their name, like, in sections of words. Okay, I get it now.
Each of their names comes from the songs, except for Nico. That name cannot be found in the song Stressed Out. But I would argue that that name is maybe the most easy to find, because he says it. My name's Blurryface and I care what you think. Nico is Blurryface. 01702 Moon 12 is the date that they won the Grammy, and at first this image doesn't seem like much. It's just a couple of yellow dashes across the page. It is gonna line up with something else in just a second.
Well, I know yellow's like the whole trench thing, right? See, they're releasing all these cryptic things. No wonder I didn't get it.
Along with this, it has several missing letters, which when you pull those out of the message, they spell out, "You are still sleeping."
The fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
This message confirms that the period of sleep we saw almost a year ago is not over yet. You are still sleeping. 01707 Moon 16 is a game.
That would kill me. Oh, it's a cheetah. Trench. That would kill me if I'm like, oh, I'm waiting. Oh my god, they're doing all these things. Like, something's coming soon. And they're like, nah, you're still sleeping. Like, we're not coming back yet.
When you take all those letters out, they spell out, "You still don't know his real name, do you?" With some letters in between that spell out Nico, which, as we saw...
yeah. See, this is so cryptic. Like, kind of like they said earlier, it doesn't feel like they were planning on it becoming this huge story, this huge, like, world and all this stuff. But, like, this hiatus period or whatever, they're, like, truly getting into it and getting all the cryptic things, like... That's when it starts to lose me. Like, I'm back in it now, but then I was out. No clue what was going on. 0%.
And it's an image of a group of people looking down over a cliff with the caption, "Not my only friend." Is it suggesting that the people in the image are more friends? Is it saying that these people are not friends? Who's to say?
I think if anything, it'd be saying, like, especially, like, with the truce reference, like, the "I hope I'm not my only friend," I think it's him saying, like, I'm not alone. Like, you're not your only friend. There's other people there. I think that's, in my personal understanding, that's what I would take from that.
Which, if you take those numbers, turn them into letters, you get trench.
Take those numbers, turn them into letters. It's just so wild to me that, okay, I understand that we're saying this casually because it's been done, people did it, it probably took them however long and they did it, whatever, right? But just the amount of work that went into this stuff makes me miss that era so bad and wish that I could have been a part of it. I want to be a little investigator.
Also, I have no clue how people thought to do this. I would
Thank
not
you.
have the brain power.
Thank you.
If you take those numbers and put them into the URL in the same place where the missing numbers were last time.
Why would you, why did Tyler and Josh just go like, well, maybe they'll find this? Like, it makes me wonder how many things they put out that people didn't find, because how would you think to do this?
an audio that when you pitch it up and reverse it, it says...
What do you mean pitch it up and reverse it? What do you mean pitch it up and reverse it? Like what? Y'all are on a different level. I can't compete. I can't compete.
Trench. You get an audio that when you pitch it up and reverse it, it says, "We are Banditos." 018,
Oh
07
my
moon
god.
From this point, also,
Scary.
this letter is where those yellow dashes from earlier come in. In the letter of Clancy,
What do you mean?
the bright eyes are strangled by the darkness of the bishop's hands.
Oh yeah, so the bright eyes are strangled by the dark vicious sense. So it's almost like an involuntary sleep. That's what I'm getting from this, because we've been talking about like the eye closing and like the sleep or whatever, right? It almost feels like involuntary, like the bishop's going sleep. In the metaphorical context of it being like depression, mental illness, all that stuff is like almost it kind of debilitating you and like forcing you to stay in this world and being like, no.
And again, when you take those yellow dashes from earlier and overlap them with this picture, you get the words "We are Banditos" highlighted. There were also yellow numbers
So wild.
that correlate with letters from this letter. If you take the letter that is next to each of the numbers and you unscramble it, again, it spells out trench. So some of the repeated phrases we have trench, we have East is out.
So wild.
We are Banditos. The letter is anticipating a big event.
Next thing you're gonna tell me is that those dots mean something. You see those dots? They mean something. I swear to God.
He says that they're willing to risk getting smeared. This is the second mention of being smeared.
It's also kind of giving FNAF, like the scooping room. Like, what are we? It's just, yep.
There are also dots along the outside of the
I
letter.
swear to
and
God.
if you take where they are on the page,
Mhm.
and then you count that many lines down based on how many dots are in the line,
Mhm.
does that make sense? Like the top
Mhm.
2 dots are only 1, so you go to the first line. The second set are 2 dots, so you go to the second line. And the bottom is 6 dots, so you count 6 dots up, and the letter that lines up with that is what the message is coming from. The message says, "Wake up." Before we got...
I am so done with. I don't know how y'all did it. Never mind. I don't want to go back there and be a part of this, because if I was there and a part of this, I'd be so done with them. I'd be like, guys, please, leave me alone.
We get an image with the title "They Can't See FCE 300", which is a code for the color yellow.
Okay, so that's where that came from. I've heard before the whole, like, oh, it's yellow because the bishops or whatever can't see it or something like that. Like, they can't see the color. So it's, like, camouflage or whatever. But I've never, like, I feel like I've gotten all these pieces but never understood where they came from or why they existed. So this is interesting.
He writes that for the first time he feels weightless and like the air is worth breathing in.
Oh yeah, that is heartbreaking. Wait, weightless? Levitating? Me like...
Trench is quite precarious at times, and it's easy to grow
Ooh.
weary. Trench.
Now we're just full-on name-dropping, okay.
The final paragraph of this letter says, "I am out here and I am very alive. I'm sometimes scared, but always discovering something new, and I will not stop. Cover me." Around this time, fans also received an email of an eye
Uh-huh.
beginning to open. And that brings us into Trench.
So wild! I can't. Like, are you kidding me? I'm just like, what? Alrighty, well that's gonna be the video for today. Look out for that next one where we're gonna be going into the trench section, which is a bit longer, so these videos feel like they're getting a little bit longer and longer. Again, shout out to this creator, tagging the video below if you guys are impatient like me and just want to go and watch it yourselves if you haven't seen it already. But hope you guys like this video, subscribe, do all the things so you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh god.